Hello, it's me, Zoid. Welcome to another video where I look at a classic track and say things about it. So today I'm going to look at the track High Tech Jazz by Underground Resistance, Mad Mike, and who knows who made it, who knows. It was Mad Mike and someone, but it's on Galaxy to Galaxy. When I was getting into techno in the 90s, I'd go out to clubs like the Funnel in Dublin, and the D1 night, Eamon Doyle would play this track quite a lot. It was like a kind of anthem probably of those times. It's such a great track. So chords that I haven't worked out actually, but I believe that's a Yamaha TX81Z or TX81Z if you're American. The synth, it's a Yamaha module, an FM synth. I've got one, and I was going through the presets once, and I think I found that sound. That's why I think it's one of those. So it was a long time ago, and I haven't looked recently, but I reckon that's a preset on the Yamaha TX81Z. When I have time, I'll try and find it. So it's got these great chords. Really warm pads come in. Just beautiful harmony, uplifting. A cool synth counter melody there. And then the beat and the saxophone come in at the same time there. Now, normally I do talk about the chords, but I just haven't figured out the chords of this one yet, but I have figured out the melody. So when the sax comes in here. Okay, then it repeats. That's an 8-bar melody. That's a really long melody. Now in jazz, 8 bars is a very common length for a melody, for a phrase before it repeats. In techno, not so much, but Mad Mike came from being a musician, a guitarist. He played with like Funkadelic, George Clinton. You know, he played in a lot of bands. Mad Mike was a session musician, so he understood music not from a musician's point of view as well as from a music techno producer point of view. And the saxophone line is brilliant. The sound of the saxophone is very obviously a sample, which kind of is part of the charm of it. It's not trying to be a real saxophone. You know, this was, what year was this actually? Well, it doesn't, what year was Galaxy to Galaxy? Or is it 2? Yeah, it's 2. So, $1993. Yes. Very, very early on. Okay, so yeah, 1993. You know, I reckon that was, my guess is that he sampled an actual saxophone, like he would have known as a sax player, so get a sax player in, play a few notes, sample it, put it in a hardware sampler, create the sample, create the track. I reckon that's what he did, but I don't know, maybe he sampled a record, I'm not sure. I kind of doubt it's sampled from a record though. Obviously the melody itself is created for the track. So let's have a look at the melody. I've worked out the melody here. So let me put this, okay. So the melody starts here. Here it is. So, and this is a Native Instruments contact saxophone instrument, which sounds terrible. Okay. I did miss like the very first note that comes in before that. So mostly it's in G sharp minor pentatonic, which would be G sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. Or B major, G sharp minor. And it fits all in those pentatonic notes except the blue note there. And then there it starts to add notes. But the added note A, natural, that means it's more G Phrygian. So it's actually like in the key of E major rather than B major. So what does that mean? It just means it's a little darker actually when it and that little run there, that has like all A naturals as well. So well, G sharp Phrygian for that. So it does this 8-bar melody, which I transcribed. You could hear it alongside. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was, you could hear it pretty close, the same. And it does that section again. Then it goes into the chorus part, which sounds like this. Okay, so it's like a kind of call response thing. 2 bars, 2 bars, 2 bars, 2 bars. Oops, that's something else altogether. The first 2 bars of the phrase is the same each time. Da 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 da. Then the first answer. Da 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 da. Then da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. So slight variations on a call and response thing. Really catchy, really super cool. When it comes on, everyone will be singing along. Here it is. We'll play it. Listen. Okay, then it goes on without the melody, and then goes back into the chorus again. .303 bit comes in, and all the classic UR drums, and yeah, it's just like, whoa. Nice. Sounds so good for 1993 as well. Bring that sax back in again. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's the melody. It's a classic, absolute classic melody. How'd you write a melody like that? Ooh, it's very singable, you know? Like, you probably don't just stumble across it, but, you know, my guess is that working on the track, putting the chords in, and then the melody came to Mike Banks's ear, and he created it from hearing it. That's what my, you know, I believe that probably most of the great melodies in the world come from the ear, like the composer hears it, the person hears it in their head. They just, maybe they don't know where they get it from. It's like they tune into it or something, but it's not like you're just writing notes with your pencil and then you're like, oh, that sounds good. You know, it could be like that. Now I do that a lot. I write melodies like that, just pencil in notes and then take a guess, and you know, sometimes it does work out. But if you know, like Hans Zimmer, for example, how he writes music, he just sits at the piano and he doesn't play a note until he hears it. They heard him say that in an interview. He just, every idea, he just waits for it to come into his mind, into his ear, and then he's able to, you know, play the idea. So I believe in that ear training, singing, this stuff. So I've got a music theory course. That's, all this stuff's covered in it. So that's why actually I was doing a video on this track for the melody writing module, which I just finished the music theory course. So that's just finished. So I decided to do this for the YouTube channel. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Comment, let me know if there's other tracks you want me to do and have a look at. And otherwise, see you soon.